this, the second evolution of the Combat Karambit course, I'll teach you how to use the skills you learned in the Level 1 training tape against an aggressive attack. The techniques that you will learn will cover a wide range of attack scenarios and give you the ability to draw upon a variety of responses to the various attacks. Coupling these techniques with the skills learned in Tape 1 will give you the ability to respond aggressively and decisively with power and devastating effectiveness should you or your loved ones ever be threatened with bodily harm. In the first tape, I showed you some of the possible strikes that you could use with a Karambit knife. Now, in this series, we're going to take some of those strikes and we're going to have another person against you so that we can actually see how those strikes would apply against a human being. In other words, the ones that you were practicing on the Tape 1 were basically static type techniques that didn't have an opponent or a target out there. I was trying to stress to get you to understand how the body mechanics came into play and to develop your body mechanics. So now we're going to take these same strikes. I'm going to show you the 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 strikes, how they would apply, possible use against an opponent. So what we're going to do is I'm going to have Mike provide his arm so that I can get in with the knife. The number 1 strike. One more time. Go ahead and throw your punch. Go ahead and throw your punch. Throw your punch. Okay, let's switch to the other side. Strike number 2. Okay, good. Switch sides. Okay. Number 3 strike. Yep. Number 4 strike. Number 5 strike. Now what I've showed you are those strikes 1 through 5 individually. And you'll notice some of the body mechanics that were involved, some of the hip motions and all that. When we get into the further evolution of this series, and we'll get into the knife boxing and all that, I'll teach you guys how to do the ducks, the bobs and the weaves and all that, because you'll find out that those things are integral to being able to use the knife to strike with, just like they are to box with. But you can see right now those strikes 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, how they would apply theoretically if someone was going to take a punch at you, or if they had a knife in their hand, okay? Now what I'll do is I'll show you in sequence, putting them together basically, so that you can start to practice these things again in combination rather than singularly. And again, I was just trying to show you guys what the applications of these strikes were, okay? And you'll notice also one of the principles that you'll see is when you're blocking, you're not blocking, you're just protecting this portion of your body, okay? I can't show you these strikes without actually using some of those things, although we haven't talked about them specifically yet. We will later. But I'm just trying to show you the applications of these strikes. So now we're going to go to just a little bit of a combination strike, basically off a punching type attack, okay? Now that showed you the 5 strikes in combination. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Now we just finished up with the 5 strikes using a saber grip. Now we're going to switch over to those same 5 strikes like I showed you in tape 1 in a reverse grip. Be some slight modifications on some of the things that we do with it. Again, what I'm showing you is not the only strike. It's not the only way to react to a punch or a strike with a knife. I'm just showing these to illustrate to you how these individual strikes can be applied. You can strike high, you can strike low. You guys understand that. I don't have enough tape to show every possible striking position that you can use with these weapons. So I'm going to take ones that will illustrate the body mechanics and the basic principles, and then you can strike wherever you want. Okay? This number 1 strike can come up from here, can come from here, can come down here. All right? You guys are fully aware of that. The number 1 strike. number 2 strike. Number 3 strike. Now, I hope you all realize something. I'm just going to show you, I'm not going to explain it. You can vary where these cuts go. Because I'm showing you these things kind of individually. Again, I want to stress, you can strike wherever you want. Okay? Just showing you that motion. Number 3 strike with a reverse grip. Number 4 strike. Number 5 strike with a reverse grip. Now, there's always variations on a theme. Number 5 strike. Now we're going to practice those figure 8 drills that we showed you in tape 1. Now in tape 1, you were doing it against an imaginary opponent, in like shadow boxing. Well, now we're going to take it, we're going to bring in a training partner, and we're going to show you how to practice those same figure 8 drills against another human being. Now Mike's going to be throwing strikes at me, and I have to be able to adjust to him, to be able to move around to him, and that's what you can't get when you're just shadow boxing and using your mind to create an imaginary opponent. That's all well and good, and I do it all the time myself because there's times when I don't have people to train with. The point is, anytime you have somebody you can train with, grab them, get them out on the mat, get them out in the training place, and practice these skills with another person, because that's the only way you can develop the timing, the distancing, your rhythm, your ability to move and strike at the same time. It's the only way you can really do it. So what we're going to do is Mike is going to be throwing some strikes at me. I'm going to be trying to do the figure 8s against him. He's going to start out nice and slow, and then as our rhythm and timing get a little bit better coordinated, we'll just bump up the speed a little bit. Okay? climb right up the arm. You climb right up the leg too. Okay, now, as you can see, even though I was doing this, there were times when Mike would contact me with his knife. Now the point is, that I want you to understand, is this is not a fighting technique right now. We're training, okay? He will hit me because we're partners. He's striking, sometimes he hits me. All I'm doing is I'm trying to enhance my ability to move against a live opponent. At this point, I really don't care. We're practicing. He's got a dull blade. It's okay. And in reality, even if it was real and he cut me, that's part of being in a knife fight. You are going to get cut. Boom, knife comes out, cuts me, but I got to keep going, so I have to be ready for that. The point is, take a boxer, one of the big things about boxing and what differentiates sometimes a good boxer from a poor boxer, from a great boxer, is the ability to take a punch. Now most people that haven't been in a fight, they're scared of getting hit. So they're all the time trying to stay away from somebody. Well, if you're trying to stay away from somebody and you're in a fight, you're going to lose. Because if you're in a fight, you have to fight, okay? You're going to get a few shots as you go in. The point is, you have to overwhelm the opponent with your techniques. Now this figure 8 drill that we're going to do, he's hitting me, but I'm hitting him back. And the point is, we're training. So as we're moving, I'm coming out, I'm going in, I'm coming out. But in reality, he throws a strike, I'm coming in, and I'm not letting up the pressure, okay? That's the difference between what training is and what the reality is. So I want you to look at this drill, and I don't want you to say, oh look, he caught him on the arm, or look, he caught him in the midsection, or he caught him on the elbow. Yeah, we're training. That's what this is all about. Just like stick fighting, boom, boom, boom. I get hit a few times, but by God, I know in a real fight, I'm going to hit as hard as I can, and I'm not going to let up until that guy goes down. That's what this is about. Now we're going to do the figure 8 drills with a reverse grip, okay? Same drill, starting out nice and slow, speeding it up as we go along. Again, it's a training situation. He's going to contact me with a knife, but I'm putting a lot of cuts out here, okay? The key is to get me to psychologically not be worried about that weapon in front of me, but be only worried about doing damage to that arm or that person that's got the ability to do me harm, okay? One of the things that's key to all of this, because I've seen a lot of guys where they've said, weapon control. He's not controlling the weapon. You know what? That's malarkey. I challenge anyone, any person, doesn't matter who they are, I don't care what degree, 10th degree, blah, blah, blah. None of that stuff really impresses me anyway. But I challenge any person to be able to control my weapon, especially when I'm doing this. There's no way on earth you're going to reach up, control my weapon, and do a wrist lock or anything. Okay? You cannot move your eyes, which are going to tell your brain what to do, which is going to tell your muscles what to do, which is going to tell your hands what to do, as quickly as I can do that. All right? It's physically impossible. The point is this. If I concentrate on that weapon, and I fixate on it, and I try and track it, there's no way on earth I'm going to be able to do that. Because what's going to happen is, number one, I can't react faster than he can act, because I am reacting. Reacting means I'm catching up. So I'm never going to beat him out of the gate. What's going to happen also is, because I'm fixated on that weapon, I'm not going to be concentrating on what other weapons he might bring into the fray. Boom! He'll throw a headbutt at me. I'm down here looking at the knife. Wham! Knocks me down. Okay? I'm down here looking at the knife. Bam! He hits me with an elbow. Takes me down. I'm down here looking at the knife. Boom! He hits me with a knee between the legs. It's going to take me down. So I'm not going to fixate on that weapon. Okay? This drill is to get you to concentrate on where these strikes are coming from and being able to move around, throw strikes yourself, but at all times being aware of that individual. The weapon is just something that's in the way, okay? You have to understand that. There's no way on earth you're going to be able to track that with your eye, all right? Let alone figure out what to do with it in the middle of a strike, okay? Okay, so what we're doing is we're going into the training portion of the figure 8 drills against a live opponent. All right. Now Mike's going to feed these strikes to me. We're going to start out on a slow, easy pace, and as our timing and rhythm get coordinated a little bit, we're going to up the ante a little bit, okay? Those are the figure 8 drills using the reverse grip. Again, you're practicing timing, you're practicing gauging your distance, you're practicing being able to move with power and grace, and you're practicing the ability to get these strikes in with a little bit of accuracy, okay? That's what this is all about. Now what we're going to do is we're going to go through the snake bite drill with a training partner. I'm going to show you how to apply that drill with another person in there throwing strikes, okay? And Mike's going to be throwing some nice easy strikes just like we did in the figure 8 drill. They're spontaneous. I don't know where they're coming from. He's varying them up a little bit. My goal is just to be able to start reacting to that, throwing these strikes, these little shots out, these snake bites that hit that hand or forearm whenever I get a chance. So that's what we're going to do right now. Okay, snake bite drill. Now I'm going to show you some techniques against common punches that you're going to encounter in an attack scenario. And we're going to keep these real simple, we're going to keep them real efficient, and I'll explain a couple of the stages to you as we go along here. Okay? The first is going to be against a jab. Someone comes up, boom, throw a jab, they're going to start an attack with you. All right? Now, as Mike throws the jab, first move I'm going to do is a nice, short, little cut right here on the forearm. Okay? He throws a jab. Boom, a cut on the forearm. My knife's right here in position. This hand's blocking. My hand's right here in position to come back. It turns over, comes back, cuts the outside of the forearm. This arm still maintains pressure against his body so that he can't, even if he has any control left, he can't come back and do something with his hand. I'm also blocking, if he tries to throw a cross over the top, I've got my arm here in the way, okay? So we're going to step through it, step by step. Mike throws a jab, boom, nice short little cut across the inside of the wrist. This knife is in perfect position, it turns over, comes along, cuts the outside of the wrist. I keep the pressure against his body, I turn him around, I'm in perfect position here, boom, cut across the side of the body like that. Mike throws a jab, cut, cut, pressure, cut, cut. A little bit faster. Okay, that's a common defense against a jab with a Karambit knife. A little faster. Now I'm going to show you a Karambit knife defense against a cross. Real heavy punch, guy comes up, he's going to throw a haymaker at you, he's ready to throw it. I'm going to show you what to do against that punch. Karambit knife is a very, very efficient, quick little tool. Keep that in mind. Now, I've shown you this technique, and I've left a lot of distance here. The reason I did that is because I wanted you to be able to see the strikes, okay? In reality, I'm not going to leave that kind of distance between Mike and myself, so I'll show it to you here, again at an easy pace, but what the correct distance should be, all right? I want to be in close, boom, so that all I got to do is continue with my forward motion on him, all right? Okay, Mike. See, by maintaining that close distance to him, I'm spring-loaded, he's off balance, he's kind of going this direction anyway. I could either punch him or I could just hit into him with my shoulder and probably end up dislodging him from his feet. Okay? One more time. That's the defense against the cross. I'm going to close the distance again. I wanted you to be able to see these strikes. He's out of balance. All I got to do is give him the shove. Okay? Now, in reality, when I come in, he strikes like that, and I cut. I'm going to hit hard, okay? My goal, and I'm not going to hit you, Mike, but my goal is to hit him just like I'm making a tackle. Boom! As hard as I can. That's the mentality that I'm going to have when I hit him. So this is not, because we're doing a drill here, that I'm just doing this to him. I'm just illustrating the point. He's off balance. It really doesn't take a lot to continue his off-balance momentum to get him dislodged. But in reality, if we were here and I hit him, it would be boom with all my force. Okay? One more time. Defense against the cross. Now I'm going to show you the defense against a boxer's hook. Okay? this can work against a stick because the motion of a hook shot is almost the same as a strike from a stick, okay? It's almost the same as a number 3 strike with a knife. So these things can work against, just because he doesn't have a knife in his hand doesn't mean it can't work against a knife. Or just because he has a stick in his hand doesn't mean it can't work against a punch. It's the principle. The principle works regardless of what the weapon is. Now, what's going to happen again is Mike is going to throw the punch, and what we're trying to show you here is we're not going to tailor-make a specific response for every punch. You're going to see that some of these things are almost mirror images of other things that we've done. The reason I'm doing this is because I don't want to teach you 200 techniques. I'd rather teach you one technique that worked all the time. Well, you and I both know that's not possible, but the point is this: if I can get a handful of techniques that work against a majority of attack responses, then I'm doing my job, okay? It doesn't do me any good to know 3,000 chords on the guitar if I can't put those together and make a song out of it. You understand what I'm saying about that? Just because someone knows 10 million techniques doesn't mean he can use all those 10 million techniques. You've got to be able to use things in combat that are going to work first time every time, all right? No messing around, no getting fancy, no drawing upon all kinds of eagle beaks and crane pecks and all that kind of stuff. It doesn't work, all right? So you're going to see some of these things are almost mirror images, but the point is this: efficiency. If you learn a technique that works against 3 or 4 different strikes, to me, that's a great technique. Why would I learn technique A for strike A, and technique B for strike B, and technique C for strike C? What if I learned technique A and it worked for A, B, C, D, all the way up to N? That's what I'd be after. So that's what you'll see here. We're trying to distill these down, core amount of techniques that work for you. Mike's going to throw a boxer's hook. You'll see it's a very similar action to when he threw the jab. This time, though, because the hook is a shorter punch, it's not extended out as far, I'm going to reach in a little bit further because we're close. He's not going to throw the hook if we're this far away. He's going to throw the jab if we're this far away. For him to throw the hook, I have to be close enough for him to hit. So that's when he's going to throw it. He's going to throw it when I'm in close. Well, I'm not going to do this, okay? I'm right here, boom. I'm going for this bicep, okay? A good cut here on the wrist will drop these tendons off right here. Same thing will happen up here. If I cut into this bicep muscle, this arm's going to flop down also, okay? So we'll show you this technique right now. Nice and slow. He throws the hook. I deflect it with this hand. I've moved in so that I have come inside the punch with my right hand. The knife is on his bicep. Cuts down over the bicep. I'm right here. I'm going to cut right up underneath the arm. Boom, like that. My knife is in position right here. Boom. Nice little cut right across this area of the kidneys. And guess what, folks? I'm real close to him. He's off balance. Boom. I'm going to hit him with my shoulder. Mike throws a hook. Boom. I step inside. I deflect it with this hand. Cut. I shift my balance a little bit. Boom! I go right up underneath the arm. Boom. Nice cut there. Perfect position right here. Boom! Next move. My legs have been bent. I'm in that perfect stance. Boom! All I got to do is come forward. Okay, we're going to go through it a couple times nice and slow. Okay, now, we're going to speed it up just a little bit to show you how it works, but I want to point out a principle. anytime I can get my shoulder from here to here underneath his arm, that's when I have the ability to knock him off balance. Okay? It's a natural control point. We're going to get into that a little bit in the advanced course. We're giving you a little taste of it right now because we end up in such a perfect position to use it. I have to introduce it to you. So here we're going to go.